All right, MMN, marshmallows and mallow cups. You ready for another Master Mason review? This is pretty good. Having a great day in the shop today. Things are rolling real nice. We're putting out a lot of product, which is really, really good. But I wanted to double down on my string theory concept for last night in the work review. So I just want to jump right into it with both feet. Sometimes you'll see a math major, right? A major, they got the shiny on there. And this is their first time jumping on a new piece of equipment, right? So you got the mask up, you're in the tomb of the unknown soldier, or the unknown mason, you don't know nothing. It's just the lights and the sounds and all the squeaky that is Shangri-La in its perfection. If you know the squeaky, it is Shangri-La. But if you go looking, there's a write out on this machine. Maybe not all of it. Most likely you'll find one in this. But that's basically string theory. There's what we can use on that for that motor could be anything. It's rated to service, and as long as the gear forces equal everything that they need to do in here, the mass, the volume, the velocity, the reciprocal, the radiant, those kinds of plasticities of the metal. So a plastic gear ain't gonna work here. And so as you're testing that out, you have to first kind of say, I don't know string theory. Somebody come up with it. Somebody come up with Log Factory. Somebody come up with this Log Factory right here. And in there, you don't have that review. A lot of times out there, Shangri-La build, poof, just clear it out and do it. There is nothing. And it's gonna start with a string theory. It's going to start with, what is my basic plan of attack? There's probably a million different ways. Euler's number, multi-world and universes, Pickle Rick coming out of this, the C-117 universe. And as you're applying a lot of that, that's where that string theory comes in. So there's a lot of them. Right now I'm working on my day leisure. It's just going to keep a track of this. And so you're going to run into some immediate problems on like my November and December. You'll be looking right at that write-out, this right here, this write-out. And you'll be staring at it for days and days and days. Here's a problem we had. And it just kind of every once in a while jumps into there. Not enough to fix it. Not enough to really say, hey, I've been a problem consistently for a good long time. And so string theory problems are a great way to kind of manifest that stuff out. It is opposed gravity that allows the situation to work. It's not because X's are over there or could be down there. It is because they are here every time. And if you do that, it'll have a problem. There will be little things that aren't perfect for that. But because the orientation position of those math problems, those ones and zeros rolling down, see, this weighs the same, or does not weigh the same, but to this rail, it doesn't care. It's just the ones and zeros. It's going to say from this distance, something is there, and it's going to keep tracking it. I'm a sensor to something like data compression, something like kinetic energy. When you have one person in this space and a setup and designed a certain way, there's going to be certain kinetics to it. If I pose the problem Bernoulli's, a bunch of cants, 12-footers today, which would be common. I don't know what you guys are doing out there. I just know inside of here, that is what that math problem will look like. On a landscaper's map, again, it'll look like this: car teardown, mechanic books, and they're all string theory, right? And one thing you want to do is, when you get that manual for the first time, you want to make sure you can throw that manual down. It's also a beneficial tool for like management inside here. It's just your crowbar. There's an 18-year-old kid. There's a 40-year-old guy that didn't have that write out. Some of the big differences is like it's writ out. It's not fancy magic that I'm trying to explain to you. Here's a graph on kelk and rabbit. You know, the rabbit we have around here for free radiants are going to come up in a common term, 0 and 1. But across the multi-universe, everything in America and everything else, that may not be the most preferential beneficial model. So what you want to do is you want to lead into the concept of this is what it is. We're not really focusing on that quantum mechanic level of it. But from here, you're going to get in a station. It won't be until you get your feet in that would you ever really be able to change anything out. But the problem on that is the other side is it's not done. Most of them aren't done out there. And it's no offense. There's a lot of the books that are done. Service, fix a button, maintenance, rotations. And so you kind of, over the years, again, looking at that 5-year, that 1-year leisure for whatever you're doing quarterly or whatever, you're going to say, hey, You know, that was a cleanup operation for all the same timeline to keep the shot tighter. It kept all your brakes and managed the time so it all parked it into one specific space at a time. Now, maybe you want that for a brake, or maybe it's up, 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 down. You're trying to pay back some Z coins for other things, or you're trying to change the geodesics or arc on some of this. Well, having that graph calc says from here, you know, it's not the sum of all answers, but I'll tell you in shorter order how long the quotes are on that. You should trust me from not necessarily living on my laurels, but data compression, and you come up with respect for tau and the Hadron Collider here. I'm just talking about tau. I'm talking about coming up with 4 for the Laplacians in method. Well, there's Laplacian, and he takes 4 shots like that, and what that does to the line is a bit of calculus. So I would want to map that marshmallow, and that marshmallow is a write-out. That marshmallow is a way to convey, here is Bernoulli's changing out the math problems to change out yields hypothetically. Are you ready for that, Mason robot? Because it might come up in a different angle at actions of spooky distances to the overhead Inglings number on the Euler's flow of this thing, talking about how to stack cants, or form follows function and technique, how you would go about overhead drawing what you can see and what you can manage in field theory, in general field theory. You don't need it to be the entirety of the Murphy, nor the correct scale. And that's what this string theory stuff's about, guys. So I want you to get in there, get motivated, get on that shepherd pole, right, brother? Catch you on the next one.